how can celebrities impact sustainable development? Imagine the stars you love on screen turning into real-life superheroes for the planet. Influential actors aren't just playing roles anymore. They're leading the charge for sustainability. From championing climate action to making eco-friendly fashion cool, they are using their iconic status to inspire us all to think green. Picture them as just actors, but also influencers of positive change, sparking global movements and making sustainability the next big thing. Please welcome to the stage distinguished actor Randeep Hooda and renowned filmmaker Rahul Mittra, who not only rule the Bollywood industry but are also passionate environmental advocates. Randeep is dedicated to environment conservation as the UN Environment's ambassador for aquatic migratory species, and Rahul uses his films to raise awareness about environmental issues. Please be seated, sir. Ms. Gul Panag was also expected to join us today, but due to some last-minute commitments, she is unable to attend. However, she sends her warmest wishes for the success of the event and extends her heartfelt support. So let's welcome Mr. Randeep and Mr. Rahul as they continue to inspire us to take action for a greener planet. Senior journalist Mr. Bhupendra Chaube will be the moderator for this special panel.
The right these days is the center of attraction these days.
No, I did that because I don't want tough questions. That's why I gave you this.
Okay, great. Great to be here. And thanks so much, Randeep and Rahul.
Thank you. I'd like to thank India Masterminds and Indian Forest Services Association for inviting me here. I think I have known many of them personally, and India is a rich flora, fauna country, one of the last bastions of biodiversity, and I think our IFS officers do a great job doing it. And today also happens to be the Forest Martyrs Day, which is, a lot of unsung heroes have given up their lives protecting our natural boundaries, and I've always felt that they should be given as much benefits and recognition as our soldiers guarding our national borders are. And it's a special day, and I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Well, great. Let's begin with a round of applause for all the brave forest warriors. Are you going to play an AV? Is there any AV that you
Not
play?
right now.
No. Okay, cool. Because I was seeing some very, very impressive AVs, and I think you hit the hammer on the nail, Randeep. That often we don't recognize, we don't sort of understand the kind of hard work which goes into management of the wildlife areas in our country, forests. There is, I think, in this big country of ours, there is a wildlife lover in every household, in every family.
We have 23% of our country protected by these IFS officers, and we should all be grateful. And in fact, they do a lonely job, a good job in places which is unrecognized, and I think these awards are a great start, because everybody who does whatever duty or work that they do, encouragement breeds more good work, and recognizing these people who are, I visit them in the places that they live and the kind of conditions that they go through, and I think it's a great initiative on India Masterminds to recognize the IFS officers and other people who contribute to that. So I'm very happy that it's a second edition, and I hope this goes on and becomes a big thing, because that will encourage more and more officers and other people to come forth and contribute more.
Well, what we'll do as we go deeper into the conversation in the evening, there are many officers in front of us today, so I'm sure that they would have their own thoughts and their own suggestions. But Rahul, just to pick up on the point, we love the wild, right? And who doesn't? The subject, the motion before us today is influencing sustainability. So first up, I just want to begin this evening. There are many young students from different universities also here today. I want you to throw some light on how do you quantify and how do you define the term sustainability. We hear a lot about it, but hey, what does it actually mean in our day-to-day lives?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Indian Masterminds and IFS Officers Association. It's a pleasure being here today, especially with my friend, my brother, Randeep Hooda. We made some beautiful films together. See, when I started off as a journalist, before I became a filmmaker, at that time, this buzzword of sustainability, go green, etc., they were mere buzzwords at that time. And after some time, it became a sort of a CSR activity, you know, because corporates had to do it, so people felt that it should just be limited to a CSR initiative. But now, I think it is much more than that. The dynamics have definitely changed, and the youth has a major role to play. We have some wonderful young people here today, I'm assuming. Although some of them are talking, I would request them not to. Otherwise, I'll call them on the stage and they can sit here and talk. Because we specially come to meet all of you. Okay, thank you. So, I think जो परिभाषा है वो बदल गई, जो significance है वो बदल गया है. Earlier, like I said, it was just a buzzword. Now people realize that sustainability is something that affects me, my environment, and everything around me. See, human beings essentially, what do we seek? Animals, I know what they seek. Animals seek survival and procreation. These are the two major things. We of course have the experts sitting here, but whatever my understanding of wildlife, and because I love wildlife and being in the wild as well. But human beings, the moment we are born, our conditioning starts. That's the conditioning that plays a very important role here, because not only merely are we looking at a connection with each other, but now we have started thinking in terms of a connection between our environment, connection between the ecology, connection between planet Earth. So profit and planet can coexist. That, I think, is the new definition of sustainability. And sustainability is, COVID has taught each one of us what sustainability is. I don't think I need to define that.
You know, I've had the pleasure of being a part of a Water Warriors award function as well. So much like we're trying to honor the forest warriors today, our forest saviors. At a similar evening in Mumbai, I was completely awestruck by the kind of work which has been done by people who we just do not know of, Randeep. Do you think in a country the size of our country, given, you know, there are income inequalities, there are caste complexities, there are tribal questions, who owns the land remains a big question in our country. When it comes to water and when it comes to land, I'm not just talking in the context of wildlife, do you think this needs to be like a national campaign of sorts? Maybe courses at the level of primary education itself for our citizens first and foremost to be better informed about the question which I was asking him, sustainability.
I think there's a lot of information out there, and with social media and a lot of young people being on it. So it's a constant reminder that there is. And in fact, there are some institutes now that have courses on environment and environment management, and there are specialized courses which are happening. But it's a matter of, you know, education starts at home, so parents have to take the charge. And then, of course, the educational institutions should also instill that. And also, there should be ways, practical ways in which individuals can contribute to a better planet, like waste management, like water conservation, like, you know, so we have to link everything together. It's the air we breathe, you know. At the end of the day, you cannot eat or breathe money. So our conditioning, as Rahul put it right from the beginning, has to orient in that way. And I think the two COVID things we had, that's really added to the fact that, you know, a lot of people are more concerned about the environment. And also, because a lot of us were locked in our houses, a lot of us are also venturing out to more natural spaces and valuing them more. So it is a holistic thing. We have to understand that we are not independent of each other or the environment. We have to coexist, otherwise there is no way out. For example, we are in Delhi, the air in Delhi turns into poison, and many other cities. So we are all breathing the same air, no matter what socio-economic background you are at, or what cultural or what linguistic background you might have, or whatever political leaning you have. You have to look at it holistically, and that is what is happening now. And thanks to these pandemics, I think there is a lot more awareness, and people are appreciating what they did not have when they were all locked up in rooms. And I think it's a big step for humanity, I guess.
Actually, if I may say so, I think the biggest international political events which are unfolding around us today are all happening around environmental factors. In fact, at the soon-to-be conducted United Nations General Assembly, the whole buzz, the whole focus this time is how do we ensure that you don't end up being stuck in a situation where there are wars which are fought between nations for the sake of protection of water. So, both of you, you come from the world of cinema. Tell me, all the points that you all have just made at the beginning, let's say you're at a film shoot, how does this sustainability, climate awareness, climate consciousness, how much of a play is that when you're part of a production setup? Are there like special steps which you all take to do that?
Well, I have been a part of a couple of productions where, little things like not having plastic bottles for the water, and giving people flasks and stuff like that. But it is not as well managed as it should be. We are creating a lot of waste, though every shoot, wherever I go, if there is, I make sure, or I try to make sure that, people, the production people clean up in the end. I think human beings are the only ones who go somewhere and leave anything but footprints. And our footprint is very, very massive, and it can really have an adverse effect. But also then it is people's habits, like people will not drink water unless it's sealed. They'll have 2 sips and put the water bottle down, and that's the end of that bottle, and that goes into waste. So not only are we wasting water, we are creating plastic waste. So I don't think the film industry has quite caught up with any of this.
We say that cinema mirrors society, and what better opportunity or what better occasion than this when we're sitting on this platform of Indian Masterminds where we want to honor, eco warriors of our country. Is there something you think the film industry could do? The global temperatures have risen. This time in the last 1 year, we've seen by well over 1 degree, if I remember correctly. In Delhi, you're talking about the kind of rainfall which we're seeing in the national capital today has not been seen, for decades now. What is it that the film industry can do to spread greater awareness about sustainability?
See, as we know, all of us know very well, that cinema is the most interactive form of art, and also the biggest tool of mass communication. I'm sure we have media film students here, and they'll agree with me that there's nothing that connects with the people, with the audience better than cinemas. And hence, while we are presenting our audiovisual presentation, small things can make a huge difference and make a huge difference. For instance, if there is a scene, if there's a film about in which there are dogs or pets or whatever, maybe, and Randeep Hooda is the hero of the film, and if in the film, like he does in real life, by the way, because Randeep and I also have some commonalities. Both of us have adopted Desi dog, by the way. Oh. Mine is butterscotch and his is candy. And
thanks.
Butterscotch and candy.
Yeah. And they're both adorable, and we really love them. So I think if there is a scene, for instance, in the film, and the audience is watching, they're not going for, I've nothing against other breeds or whatever, but come on, if you have a Desi dog, a pup that you can rescue, like we were fortunate enough to get that opportunity, it'll leave an imprint, for sure. Similarly, if there is a scene in terms of a person is shaving and the tap is open, one dialogue can make a big difference. Ki, "Arey, nalka to band karo." पानी खत्म हो रहा है, of this food wastage. Coming back to the point of Randeep in productions, when my productions happen all the time, and I mean, you see, food is a very important part of the set because there are so many crafts, and more than 20 crafts that make a film. You know, the different departments, and all of them need to be fed because it takes a lot of hard work to make a film.
You know, Randeep, you're known to be an actor who does very, very intense roles. You know, we've seen some of your recent series, for instance, you know, Kora, I mean, fantastic. Do you think, you know, I wonder when a movie starts, for instance, you know, you have all these disclaimers कि भाई इस picture में animals को hurt नहीं किया गया या इतने पेड़ नहीं काटे गए. Do you think that the same point that you're making, that, you know, production units should be careful about how much plastic you're consuming, have we reached that stage where purely for the purpose of information, the cinematic authorities could perhaps think in terms of maybe starting or going into the intermission or concluding the movie with some kind of information which spreads greater awareness about sustainability?
I think
Possible?
I think movies are not meant for that. Movies are meant for entertainment, and if you entertain and engage people, maybe you can put in some messages. But I think the byproduct of movies, actors who are famous and stuff like that, they've got social media, and that can be a great tool to influence people, because people are more on social media than they watch movies these days. People don't have the patience. They just swipe up, down, and all that. But being an actor, I think the message can be sent out better through social media, and which I try to do. Like, for example, I do what I would term as conservation photography, where I go to beautiful places and take pictures and put them out on my social media, and not just tigers but other images as well, which, you know, gives people an idea of what a beautiful richness of flora and fauna and biodiversity we have. And if you make those images and a lot of people engage with that image, it then probably somewhere deep within them, it makes them feel that, hey, we should save this, and coupled with the message of that, hey, this is endangered or this is what we are losing, that can encourage people to participate in it more. And also a lot of, after COVID, a lot of people have started visiting our tiger parks and all that. And it's a lot of you know, pressure on just a few parks, let's say. And so what I've tried to do with Sarosh Lodhi, who's a great photographer, he's my friend and my photography mentor. So what we do is we go to other parks and, you know, we make images so that the tourism can be more distributed, so that there is not too much pressure on one park. And this is something which I'd like to talk to the policy makers as well, that, you know, open out more parks for regular tourism, and also sanctuaries, which can absorb a lot more of tourism. And even in the parks, only 20% of the park is open for tourism. And it's a suggestion. I mean, a lot of people would, a lot of especially officers would argue against tourism and not opening out the parks. But I would like to say that tigers and humans have coexisted forever.
We're irresponsible, Randeep. I mean, if I may really say
so. What is happening is...
Humans are irresponsible.
So what is happening is, too many jeeps, too many safari jeeps in one concentrated area creates a crowd and a ruckus. So if we open out 50, 60, 70% of the parks, but do not increase the jeeps, then they will spread out, and then there will be less pressure on the some superstar tigers we have, or zones we have, or the parks we have. They'll get more distributed, and there'll be lesser impact. And that is one of the suggestions that I felt could really make a difference and decrease the pressure, because so many people are now going to these parks, and it's creating a lot of pressure on those certain areas and on those certain tigers and other animals over there. So this can be distributed. And then, for example, there's Tipeshwar in Maharashtra, which is not a big sanctuary. It's 148 square miles or something. And there, before 2015, not many people went there. But today, it's a thriving, you know, all year round tourism thing. And also, so that I've done the same with Tipeshwar. I mean, I've contributed, I'm not the only one. But Satpura and Pilibhit are also places that people visit now instead of just Corbett and Tadoba and all these places. So that is also making a difference. And what it does in turn, it then provides employment to the people over there. And it increases, because the whole thing of saving the tiger is actually, in my opinion now, saving the people who surround the tiger, because they will save the tiger if tiger is economically beneficial to them. So that is what I feel towards it, and opening out these parks to and encouraging people to go to more parks, and that will only happen, if there is a holistic effort of making people aware and not putting pressure on just a few.
Those are very, very noble thoughts, Randeep, being echoed by you. But Rahul, I was recently at an evening in the national capital, and I realized that Papon, the famous singer, right at the beginning of his career, had actually composed a track. He'd performed a song in a wildlife movie, which spoke about this entire conflict between tiger and mankind. So my question to you is this: my position is that human beings, as citizens, we're extremely irresponsible, right? Randeep wants more and more parks to open up. I'm saying that maybe as a society, we don't follow rules, right? We've seen, this is something which happens across the country. There are friends now who are protecting the forest in a sense as police personnel, and they're all here, and warm welcome to them too. How do you deal with this question of requirement? There is an economic requirement, I agree, but the irresponsible nature, which is also part and parcel of this entire conflict.
See, I think human being is a social animal.
Man is a social animal.
Human
beings.
So we learn from example. So going back a little to Randeep's wonderful point, I think, earlier what happened was that, of course, we all know that celebrity endorsements really help push a product. It's now recently credible, popular actors like Randeep are coming forward endorsing, green, environment-friendly things. While I also noticed that some of our colleagues and friends and all, fall prey to greenwashing. So greenwashing?
What's that? Now we're talking greenwashing. So,
greenwashing is to my mind nothing but misleading the consumer into believing that this product is environment friendly, whether it is not. For instance, like taking out an advertisement of a laundry detergent saying that no phosphate, environment friendly. For heaven's sake, you don't need phosphate. There is something else which is damaging enough. So, we need to understand that this is really good for the environment. So I think it all boils down to something called eco-consciousness. One needs to be conscious towards the ecology. Randeep mentioned this thing of leaving your, footprint, and we are not leaving the footprint, because one should leave the footprint in terms of legacy, but too much of footprint in environment is bad. So, stopping that, I think, is really important, and it is a thing of habit, and it is difficult to break a habit, and I can prove this to you. How do you spell habit? Can somebody tell me? Spelling of habit? H-A-B-I-T. Remove H, what remains? Remove A, what remains? Remove B, what remains? So it always remains. So once you form the habit, it will remain, and all of us need to form certain habits that are good, not for us. And going back to your initial question, if you look at the typical sort of terminology of sustainability, most of the people think to sustain is to survive in the resources that are available. But that is not the only thing to sustainability. The other thing is taking care of all the resources to survive, but also not to deplete the resources for the future generations. That is the key that we need to inculcate habit.
Okay.
And these habits can be changed as it remains. But like, as you said, that we are indisciplined and all that, can be another aspect of, through social media, how the etiquettes of behaving in a park. You don't take plastic inside the park, you don't, scream and shout, and there are a lot of measures that are already there, where, there is GPS system in the jeeps. They cannot stand around for more than 10, 15 minutes. And stuff like that. So all that can be, taught through social media. Going through films is a very hard thing, but through social media, all those etiquettes can be taught, and a more responsible tourism can be inculcated in people, and encourage more people to go out there, because once you have experienced the beauty, the serenity, and the feeling that it gives you, because when I go to the forest, all the oxygen, and I come back healthier, I eat more, and I have, I am a better person when I come back. So once more of that starts happening, and if that is encouraged responsibly, then more and more people are going to be interactive with it. The more people are interactive with it, the more people will think about it. The more they think about it, more habits will form, more thought processes will come about in the society to appreciate what we have and to grow more. Like, for example, what could I do? Well, I could acquire land and make more forests. I could raise a voice against linear infrastructure, which is going through corridors or through parks. And, there is a big problem about, okay, we are now conscious of our linear infrastructure, and we're making mitigation measures to counter the animal movement and all that, so there is less conflict through those roads. But there are already so many roads that exist before this consciousness came about. Those are being ignored. There are still a lot of road kills that are happening, and only when a tiger dies it becomes a big deal. But there are a lot of other animals that are suffering. Like there is a road between Uttarakhand and UP in Pilibhit, which is also a road which is used for smuggling. In fact, and other aspects, it's on the Nepal border. There are so many road kills on that, and I just made a note of the exact place. It's in Mustafabad, UP, which has Pilibhit to Khatima in Uttarakhand, which has Surai, right? So there are so many road kills that happen on that. So there has to be a regulation from the forest department and the roads department and all that, so that you curtail the speed and have more patrolling over there, and also restrict the night movement of vehicles, so that these things don't happen. So there are many pinpointed particular things that can be done. And I, being in the position that I am, where I'm blessed to have an audience of a larger portion of population, I think then it is up to me to raise these voices and make people aware of the concerns. A lot of people want to do things for the environment, but they don't know how. They don't know how to do it, and that becomes an impediment. And we don't know how to do it, or the doomsday theory that is propagated or was being propagated to us, that, hey, it's all lost, we can't do anything about it, so might as well, deal with whatever it is there. So that hope, the shining of hope, which comes through a lot of these very dedicated IFS officers who are doing a great job, and to encourage them with these awards, and to also aid them in all these things. Like I have come across a lot of officers, if you don't mind me saying, a lot of them are not very social media friendly, and social media is actually an impediment.
But they're not allowed to. There are also the government protocol.
No, but so many of them are there. What are they doing? Why not they being pulled up? Yeah, but it is good, because social media has to stop being seen as an evil, especially by the officers' cadre, because a lot of reporting, a lot of, civilian reporting of things that happen through that, a lot of awareness that happens through that, from forest fires to a truck of logs being taken on some road which seems suspicious, or there's a body of a tiger which was not discovered by the MP Pench Forest Department, and it was the social media and other people who pointed that out. There has been wrong identification of a tiger done by the Corbett department, and later on through matching the stripes and all that, you found out, hey, this is not that tiger but that tiger. So social media, and also I follow these officers on social media, and the kind of things they put out, they make me aspiration. They give me an aspirational thoughts to me, so that I should also go do more. Their information and the thing, engagement through that is a massive thing, and we cannot shut down progress. We cannot shut down the way our society is progressing. But we can create awareness, we can create mitigation, we can create all that because we are a developing nation. And of course, our natural resources are the ones that our governments and our thing they turn to. But to regulate that, to do that in a good way, like for example, a lot of times it happens that, there's a Kampa theory which, you can, pristine forest habitat is taken down and you can compensate for that to grow trees somewhere else. And I fail to see so. Like if we are trying to grow trees elsewhere, then why are we trying to destroy ecosystems? Forests are ecosystems. You cannot recreate them by planting trees. So there has to be a strong measure from the policymakers, from the lawmakers, from everybody, from the tribunals, to make sure that we do not give that out. Like for example, we are a coal surplus country. But why are we giving a pristine forest for more coal mining? I fail to understand that. So there are many such things, and these things can only come to fore in a public consciousness through discussion, not debates. Debates usually end up, you or me. But discussions, things can come out. There's a lot of things that I might be saying which are not, which some people might not agree with. But it starts a discussion. Yeah. It'll come to a point where it will happen sustainably. The balance will be there, and that is what I think it's all about. I think I spoke too much.
Let's give a huge round of applause to Randeep Hooda for this absolutely incredibly encouraging words. And I can see that there's a lot of ideas, which I'm sure have been planted with the team of Indian Mastermind. You've used the word hope. I hope that you will be here next year as well, honoring another set of leaders. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Randeep and Rahul.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience and your